let's get into this. Look how gorgeous. Hello and welcome to my Keto Kitchen. I'm Victoria, and today, based on feedback, we're going to make my Just Add Water loaf of keto bread again. And I'm going to give you more information that's going to help you do it, because if it didn't work out for you the first time, this bread is a miracle and you have to get it right. So your altitude, your humidity level, things like that may change it, and I need to explain to you exactly what you need to do to make this bread perfect. So today, based on all of the feedback that I have gotten, I am making a volume 2 on my Just Add Water loaf of keto bread. And this is for you. If it did not work out the first time, we have to make it work out for you, because this bread is magic. So let's just get started, because it is extremely easy. The first thing we need is my self-rising flour. Not my cakes and cookies all-purpose flour. That flour, the reason I named it cakes and cookies, because that flour is perfect for cakes, cookies, pastries, anything like that. It's your all-purpose flour. Now this is a self-rising flour. This is more like your keto bread flour. So anything that has yeast or that you want a bread texture, you have to use my self-rising keto flour. So as of right now, I have 2 flours. There's more to come. But as of now, I have 2 flours out. That's the cakes and cookies and the self-rising flour. So this specifically is the self-rising flour. Why? Why does it need to be the self-rising flour? Because this flour has more oat fiber. Oat fiber is very absorbent. You need this to be more absorbent per cup. Also, you need more xanthan gum, because there is egg white protein powder in here. So the xanthan gum in here works with your egg white protein powder. Also, from many of the comments that I read, the breads were going really high. Now, you need a bread pan that's a regular size. This dough, it will rise. You do not want a little bitty bread pan. You need a good sized bread pan. Right here I have 8.5 by 5.5, 9 by 6, anything like that. A regular sized bread pan. Another thing, the water. So 2 cups of water is what I use. That is perfect, and is what I'm going to use today. It's what I made in the first video. But I noticed you want your water to be lukewarm. So you can put your 2 cups of water in the microwave for about 45 seconds. You don't want it hot. If it's cold, it takes longer to cook the inside. You don't want that. You want it lukewarm. You don't want it hot. You just want it room temperature or lukewarm. Somewhere around there is perfect. And so many people said, can we add salt? Yes, absolutely, you can add salt. This is half of a teaspoon of salt. It's what I'm going to put in here. So, to recap, we have 4 cups of my self-rising flour. Not the cakes and cookies, the self-rising bread flour. This is 400 grams. And I have 2 cups of lukewarm water and half of a teaspoon of salt. For those that have asked, can they put salt? Now, you most definitely can put seasonings. You can put yeast in here. You do not need to let it rise, just cook it like normal. But if you want the taste of yeast, put yeast in here. If you like yeast, but you don't like a really strong taste of yeast, don't use as much as you would if you needed it to rise. You probably only need about half of a teaspoon, something in there, if you want the yeast taste, but you don't want all of that yeast. You don't need yeast at all, but if you want that taste, add the yeast to this. So I want to help you make this bread and make it perfect. So we're going to do it again today. It's everything I have imagined ever having in a keto bread. And that's why I want it to be just as perfect for you as it is for me. So let's make this again. Here is my flour, 400 grams of my self-rising keto flour. Right here, this is 2 cups of lukewarm water. I'm going to sprinkle half of a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put my attachment on. Now I'm going to pour the water in here slowly while it is mixing it up. And if you have made this and it was too moist on the inside, here's maybe what went wrong. Number 1, you weren't using my self-rising flour. If you were using my self-rising flour, you possibly did not mix it up right, or maybe you did not weigh each ingredient out in grams. I do not I absolutely do not recommend weighing out my flours with cups. Always weigh it. Every gram matters in my flour. If you did all of those things, maybe it's where you live. You may have high humidity, you may be at high altitude, you may be at a low altitude. Whichever one, it's going to alter the amount of anything that you bake with. So change it to you, what you need. And I recommend, if it's too moist, drop it down to 1 3/4 of a cup of water. Now, I am in Oklahoma, so 2 cups is perfect. 2 cups is absolutely perfect. But if it's too moist, either reevaluate the way you mix the flour or drop it down to 1 cup plus 3/4 of a cup of water. Let's mix this up, and then I'm going to talk about the baking. So I want to leave that on real time so that you see exactly how long it took for me to get this bread completely mixed together. Now I'm going to pour this into our bread pan. I do have it lined with parchment paper. Okay, now I have smoothed out this dough really well. Another trick I learned, if you want the top really smooth, just add water to the back of your spatula and then smooth it. So I'll do that real quick. Just a little bit of water on the back, and I am just going to smooth it out. I will give you a close-up. Now, another thing that I have learned with this bread is the best baking time is between 50 minutes and 1 hour. So this is going to depend on you and how hot your oven is, or if you have an older oven, maybe it isn't quite as hot. This takes between 50 and 60 minutes in my oven. As long as this has baked more than 50 minutes, you can take it out if the color looks good, but do not take it out before 50 minutes. Now, I am probably going to leave this in my oven for 60 minutes. So I am going to put this in the oven, 350 degrees, for 50 to 60 minutes. More than likely, I'm going to leave this in there for 60 minutes, and I'll tell you exactly how long, but I'm going to set my timer for 60 minutes. And I'll be right back. Look how gorgeous. So perfect. Now, this baked for 60 minutes. You see how smooth the top is? It is smooth like this because I wet the spatula and I went around and smoothed off the top. That also creates somewhat of a seal, so it doesn't rise as high, but this is still a really thick loaf of bread. This bread is so beautiful. Look at this, 60 minutes. It did not burn at all. Okay, now let's cut into this. I just got it out of the oven. It will be steaming, so it's still hot, but I'm still going to cut right into it. Okay, let's look at this. Gorgeous. Whew, it's on fire. Now, what I want to show you is fresh baked bread right here. And then I want to show you this. I baked this 2 days ago. This has been in a Ziploc bag in the refrigerator. I'm going to show you a difference of what happens as this bread completely cools and sets out. So, I'm going to show you first a fresh piece of bread. I'm going to put it close up. I'm going to tell you about the texture. And then I'm going to cut this and show you what it looks like 2 days later. So this bread cooked for 1 hour. It is moist, okay? It is moist. See the steam? It's still really, really hot. But it is perfect bread. Let's cut this. This is, like I said, 2 days old. And I want to show you what this looks like. Okay. Can you see? Completely dried out. It is definitely not moist like the other one, but it is still a gorgeously beautiful piece of bread. So, what I want you to know about this bread is once you make it, you can straight away eat it if you cook it for 50 to 60 minutes. However, it is going to be a little bit moist. Oh, I wanted to taste it because it has salt. We put half a teaspoon of salt in this. Ooh, oh my god. This bread's amazing. You have to make this work for yourself. You are missing out on the best bread, the best keto bread there is, and the easiest keto bread that there is. I had to remake this, and I had to talk to you about more specifics because you have to make this work for you. There is nothing like this. You can't beat it. It's so easy. It is so delicious. So I had to help you guys out. I had to answer some questions, had to remake it for you so that you could see maybe what you didn't do or something you did differently that maybe you need to change. A big thing is it needs to cook for more than 50 minutes or 50 minutes and more, depending on your oven and where you live. But this was 60 minutes baked. This one was 50 minutes baked. I mean, they're both perfect. So it just depends on where you live. So just know when you cut into it, it will be moist, okay? The inside will be a little bit moist, but don't worry about that because this has already dried out and I haven't been standing here but like 5 minutes. And some of you have let it set out, but maybe you didn't bake it long enough, or maybe you need to re-examine which flour of mine that you used. And then if you use the self-rising flour, make sure you weigh each ingredient. That is the biggest difference with my flours. Each ingredient definitely needs to be weighed in grams, and I have all of that in the description box of my flours. But I had to remake this video because I had to help you guys. You have to be able to make this bread. It's the easiest keto bread there is. It's delicious, and I know it would be a huge blessing. So I redid it. There's more information in this video. If you try this, please leave a comment down below. If you made this and say it didn't turn out the first time, but you made it again and it turned out perfectly, let us know what you did differently. Please tell us maybe what you didn't do right the first time and what you did do right the next time that you made it. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I post every Tuesday and Friday, and you have a blessed day.